I should have never clicked on that profile. My name is Alex, and 6 months ago, I made a decision that destroyed everything I'd built. I'm not talking about losing money or getting scammed. I'm talking about something worse. Something that made me question every choice I'd ever made, every person I'd ever trusted, and eventually, my own sanity. This is the story of how one click changed my life forever. Let me take you back to where it all started. January 15th, a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were always slow at work. I was 28, living in Seattle, working as a graphic designer for a mid-sized tech company. Nothing special, nothing extraordinary. I had my own apartment, a decent paycheck, and a routine that felt safe. Safe, that's the word I'd use to describe my life back then. Predictable, boring maybe, but safe. I spent most of my free time online. Who doesn't, right? Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. I'd scroll through feeds during lunch breaks, before bed, sometimes even during meetings when nobody was looking. It was mindless, comfortable, a way to feel connected without actually connecting. That Tuesday afternoon, I was browsing Instagram during my lunch break, just scrolling, double tapping photos of people's vacations, their overpriced brunches, their gym progress, the usual digital noise. Then my thumb stopped. A profile. No profile picture, just a gray silhouette. The username was a random string of letters and numbers, something like user4729K, the kind of account that screams bot or spam. But there was one post, just one, and it was a photo of my street. Not just my neighborhood, my actual street. I recognized the coffee shop on the corner, the blue house with the broken mailbox, the crooked stop sign that the city never fixed. The photo was taken from an angle that looked up toward my apartment building. My chest tightened. I told myself it was a coincidence. Seattle's a big city, sure, but people take photos of random streets all the time. Maybe it was a real estate agent. Maybe someone documenting the neighborhood. Maybe nothing. But I clicked on the profile anyway. No other posts, no followers, following 0 accounts. The account was created 3 days ago. The only post had no caption, no tags, no location, just that photo of my street, posted 2 hours earlier. I should have closed the app. I should have blocked the account and forgotten about it. But instead, I did something stupid. I followed them back. I don't know why. Curiosity maybe, or that weird internet instinct where you want to understand something that doesn't make sense. I wanted to see if they'd post again, if they'd reveal who they were or what they wanted. Nothing happened for the rest of the day. I went back to work, finished my projects, went home, made dinner, but I kept checking my phone. Every 20 minutes, I'd open Instagram and refresh that profile. Still nothing, still just that one photo. By midnight, I felt stupid. I was obsessing over a random account that probably belonged to some kid or a glitched bot. I set my phone on my nightstand and forced myself to sleep. I woke up to a notification at 3:17 in the morning. User4729K had posted again. I grabbed my phone, my heart already pounding before I even saw what it was. The new post was another photo. This time, it was my apartment building. Not just the building, my window, 4th floor, corner unit. The lights were off in the photo, but it was definitely my window. The blinds I never fully closed because I liked the morning light. The small crack in the corner of the glass that I'd been meaning to get fixed. Someone had stood outside my building and photographed my specific window. My hands were shaking. I sat up in bed, suddenly very aware of how dark my apartment was, how quiet. I got up and checked the locks on my door. Both bolted. I went to the window and looked down at the street. Empty, just parked cars and streetlights. No one standing around with a camera, no one watching. I closed the blinds completely and sat on my couch, staring at my phone. I wanted to call the police, but what would I even say? Someone took a picture of a building? That's not illegal. I had no proof they were threatening me. No messages, no captions, just photos. I thought about deleting Instagram entirely, blocking the account, but part of me needed to know who this was and what they wanted. So I sent a direct message. "Who are you?" Simple, direct. I hit send and waited. The 3 dots appeared immediately. They were typing. My stomach dropped. Whoever this was, they were awake. They were online. They were waiting for me to reach out. The message came through. "You don't remember me?" I read it 5 times. I didn't recognize the account. I'd never seen those photos before. I didn't know anyone who would do something like this. I typed back, "Should I?" Another pause. Then, "You ruined my life, Alex." My full name. They knew my full name. My Instagram handle was just my first name and some numbers. Nothing that would tell a stranger my last name or who I actually was. But they knew. I felt cold, really cold, like someone had opened a window in the middle of winter, even though all my windows were closed and locked. I typed back with trembling fingers, "I don't know who you are. Please leave me alone." The response was instant. "You will." Then the account went silent. No more messages, no more posts. I stayed awake the rest of the night, checking every few minutes, but nothing changed. When morning came, I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus, couldn't think about anything except those messages. I tried to piece together who it could be. An ex? I'd only had 2 serious relationships and both ended on decent terms. A coworker? I kept to myself at work. I wasn't the type to make enemies. A client? I barely interacted with clients directly. No one made sense. I spent the day Googling my own name, trying to see what information was publicly available. My LinkedIn, my freelance portfolio from years ago, a few tagged photos on Facebook from college. Nothing that would give someone my address or make them think I'd ruined their life. By evening, I convinced myself it was a prank, some dark joke from someone I'd forgotten. It had to be. Then my phone buzzed. Not Instagram this time, a text message from an unknown number. "Check your email." I opened my email app. There, sitting at the top of my inbox, was a message from a burner email address. No subject line. I opened it. Inside was a photo. It was me, walking to work that morning. I was wearing the same jacket I had on, the same backpack. The photo was taken from across the street, zoomed in enough to see my face clearly. Below the photo was a single sentence. "I see you every day." I dropped my phone. My whole body went numb. This wasn't a prank. This was real. Someone was following me, watching me, documenting my life. I picked up my phone and called the police. The officer who took my report was polite but unhelpful. I showed him the Instagram account, the messages, the email with the photo. He wrote everything down, but I could see it in his eyes. He didn't think it was serious. No direct threats, no physical contact, just some creepy messages and photos taken in public spaces. He told me to document everything, keep records, change my routines, be aware of my surroundings. If anything escalated, I should call back immediately. That was it. No investigation, no protection, just advice I could have gotten from a Google search. I left the station feeling more alone than I'd ever felt in my life. Over the next 2 weeks, the messages continued. Not every day, that would have been too predictable. Instead, they came randomly. A photo of the coffee shop I stopped at on Thursday mornings, a picture of my car in the parking garage, a screenshot of my LinkedIn profile with the caption, "Nice promotion." I hadn't told anyone about my recent promotion except my parents and my boss. It wasn't public information. Whoever this was had access to details about my life that they shouldn't have. I stopped going to my regular spots. I changed my routine completely. Different coffee shops, different routes to work. I even stayed at a friend's place for 3 nights, too terrified to sleep in my own apartment. But the messages kept coming. A photo of the new coffee shop, a picture of my friend's street. They were always one step ahead, always watching. I started seeing threats everywhere. Every person on the subway could be them. every car that drove too slowly past my building, every stranger who looked at me for a second too long. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating regularly. My boss noticed my performance slipping. My friends noticed I was canceling plans. I was falling apart, and whoever was doing this knew it. Then, 3 weeks after it started, I got a message that changed everything. Meet me tomorrow, 2 p.m., Westlake Park. Come alone, or I go to your employer with everything. Everything? What did they have? I hadn't done anything wrong. I was the victim here. But that phrase, everything, it implied they had something on me, something I should be afraid of. I spent that night going through my entire digital history, every email, every message, every photo, looking for something I might have forgotten, some mistake, some moment where I'd hurt someone without realizing it. I found nothing. The next day, I went to Westlake Park. I arrived early, my heart hammering in my chest. I sat on a bench near the fountain and waited. 2 p.m. came and went. No one approached me, no messages, nothing. I stayed for 2 hours, scanning every face, every person who walked by. Nobody paid attention to me. Nobody seemed interested. At 4 p.m., I gave up and went home. When I got there, there was an envelope taped to my apartment door. No stamp, no return address, just my name written in block letters. Inside was a printed article from 7 years ago, a small local news story about a car accident. A college student named Marcus Webb had been hit by a car while crossing the street. The driver fled the scene. Marcus survived but suffered permanent injuries. The driver was never found. Below the article was a handwritten note. "You remember now?" My blood turned to ice. 7 years ago, I'd just graduated college. I'd been at a party. I'd had too much to drink. I should have called an Uber, but I was young and stupid and thought I was fine to drive. I remembered getting in my car. I remembered the streets being empty. And then I remembered a moment, a brief, terrible moment where I thought I'd hit something, a bump, a sound. But when I stopped and looked back, there was nothing, no person, no animal, just an empty street. I convinced myself I'd imagined it. I drove home. I never told anyone. I buried that memory so deep that I'd actually forgotten it happened. But Marcus Webb hadn't forgotten. I sat on my kitchen floor, the article shaking in my hands. I'd ruined someone's life and I didn't even remember. I'd driven away and gone on with my normal life while Marcus dealt with injuries, medical bills, trauma. My phone buzzed. Another message. "Now you understand." I understood. I understood everything, the photos, the stalking, the fear. Marcus wanted me to feel what he felt, helpless, watched, afraid. I typed back, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't remember." The response came quickly. "You didn't want to remember. That's different." He was right. Some part of me knew. Some part of me chose to forget because remembering meant facing what I'd done. "What do you want?" I typed. "You want me to confess." And there it was, the end game. He didn't want money. He didn't want revenge in the traditional sense. He wanted me to take responsibility for something I'd spent 7 years running from. We arranged to meet in person the next day. Same park. This time, he showed up. Marcus Webb was 30 years old, thin, with a slight limp and a scar running down the left side of his face. He sat down on the bench next to me, and we didn't speak for a long time. Finally, he broke the silence. "I spent 2 years in physical therapy. I lost my scholarship. I had to drop out of school. I couldn't work for 18 months. My entire life got derailed because you were too scared to stop and check if you'd hurt someone." Every word was a knife. Every word was true. "I know," I said. My voice cracked. "I know, and I'm sorry. I was a coward. I was selfish. I destroyed your life, and I don't deserve forgiveness." "No," Marcus said, "you don't." We sat in silence again. Then he handed me a piece of paper. It was a confession, a written statement admitting what I'd done. He wanted me to sign it and turn myself in to the police. "If I do this," I said, "I'll lose everything. My job, my apartment. I could go to jail." "Yes," Marcus said simply, "you could." "Why now?" I asked. "Why wait 7 years?" "Because I needed you to understand what it felt like," Marcus said. "I needed you to feel afraid, to feel watched, to lose sleep, to question everything. That's what you did to me. Not just with the accident, but with the choice you made afterward. You chose to protect yourself instead of doing the right thing. I wanted you to live with that fear before I gave you the chance to make a different choice." I looked at the confession in my hands. I thought about everything I'd lose, everything that would happen if I signed it. Then I thought about Marcus, about the life he'd lost because of my cowardice. I signed it. Marcus took the paper, folded it carefully, and put it in his jacket pocket. Then he stood up. "What happens now?" I asked. "That's up to you," Marcus said. "I'm giving you 24 hours. You can turn yourself in, or I will. But either way, the truth comes out." He walked away, and I sat there on that bench for hours. I turned myself in the next morning. The legal process was brutal. I was charged with felony hit and run. My lawyer tried to argue that 7 years had passed, that I had no memory of the incident, that there was reasonable doubt, but I refused to fight it. I pled guilty. I lost my job. I lost my apartment. I spent 8 months in county jail. When I got out, I had a record. Finding work was nearly impossible. Rebuilding my life was harder than anything I'd ever done. But here's the thing nobody tells you about guilt. It doesn't go away just because you forget it. It sits in your chest like a stone, weighing you down, even when you can't name it. For 7 years, I'd felt that weight without understanding why. I'd been restless, anxious, unable to fully enjoy anything because some part of me knew I was living a lie. Confessing didn't erase what I'd done. It didn't give Marcus back the years he'd lost, but it lifted that weight. For the first time in 7 years, I could breathe. I reached out to Marcus after I got out of jail. I didn't expect him to respond, but he did. We met for coffee. We probably never became friends, but we talked, really talked, about what happened, about the choices we both made afterward. He told me that following me, watching me, making me afraid, it hadn't brought him peace. It had just made him angrier. But seeing me take responsibility, seeing me willing to lose everything to do the right thing, that had given him something. Not closure exactly, but something. Close. Today, I work part-time at a nonprofit that helps hit-and-run victims navigate the legal system and find resources. I volunteer at a victim support group. I'm rebuilding my life, but I'm doing it honestly this time, without hiding, without running. I'm telling you this story because I want you to understand something. We all make mistakes. We all have moments we wish we could take back. But the worst thing you can do is pretend they didn't happen. The worst thing you can do is run from the truth because you're afraid of the consequences. Marcus could have destroyed me anonymously. He could have turned me in without giving me a chance to confess on my own. But he didn't. He gave me a choice. He made me face what I'd done, and then he gave me the opportunity to do the right thing. That's more mercy than I deserved. If you're carrying something heavy, if there's a mistake you've buried, if there's someone you've hurt and never apologized to, don't wait for it to catch up with you. Don't wait for someone to force your hand. Do the right thing now, before it's too late, before someone has to spend years of their life hunting you down, just to make you see what you refused to see. I followed one random stranger online, and it ended my life as I knew it. But it also gave me a chance to start over as someone better, someone honest, someone who finally deserves the life they're living.